And what if we built a software company that could really change the way that businesses and organizations and nonprofits and governments could work and collaborate and accomplish their missions? So when we sort of laid out that strategy, we said, well, how do we build a company that best reflects that vision and best reflects what we're trying to do in the world? And we realized that we had to build a very different kind of company than what other enterprise software companies or other technology companies has built.
Box is enterprise content management, and what that means is we enable organizations to capture their content and put it into a single workspace.
We built this product really for our own personal sort of use cases, as well as use cases that we saw in the context of doing internships and working in businesses. And what quickly happened was we realized there was a much bigger opportunity where the way that the entire world was going to work was going to be very different in the coming decade or so than it had been over the prior 20 or 30 years.
What made me want to work at Box? Well, it was actually, it came from watching my sons interact with the devices. They would interact with a computer in the same way that they would interact with their mobile phone. And I wanted to be at a company that was enabling people to take advantage of content and to be able to work or do what they wanted to do from anywhere. And Box had a solution that did that because it's in the cloud.
We needed to be way more innovative than your traditional enterprise software company. We needed to move way more quickly. The world was changing way more rapidly, and so we knew that we had to keep our technology always current with the modern trends and what was going on in the world. And so we had to make sure that the way that we developed our technology and our software was far faster than any other company. We also knew that that traditionally enterprise software and enterprise technology brands, so the way that the brands actually sort of felt to the world, were usually very stale, and they weren't very interesting, they weren't very exciting. So what we said was, if we're going to build software for the modern world, for businesses, then what if we did it with a brand that was more like an Apple or a Google?
I would describe the culture at Box as a place where people can be authentically themselves, but a place where people can do really big things. I think it's an exciting place where we get to work with a lot of different types of customers that are facing a lot of different types of challenges. And because Box is a horizontal solution, it leads to a culture of wanting to constantly learn and be curious, because there's so much power that our technology can do that we as Boxers don't even know is possible.
There are lots of really great perks at this company that you won't find at other companies. And we encourage you to balance your life with your work. And oftentimes what happens there, and what you'll see in Box, is you'll actually see lots of the things that you love about life and the fun parts of life are incorporated into the way that people work. So we don't take ourselves too seriously. Part of being at work is celebrating your successes.
The challenge of work and play really is kind of a tension to manage rather than a problem to solve. I think that it's kind of constantly a little bit of a tug of war back and forth. I think there were times that we probably were a little bit too not wild, but too light in terms of kind of the work ethic. And I think now we're at a place where there's a little bit better balance. But I think there's always kind of a sense of wanting to be able to kind of be your authentic self, wanting to be able to blend and not have to be two separate people, be your work self and be your personal self. We want to be able to blend those together, because ultimately that's going to lead to more productive, effective Boxers.
The last thing I'll say is we are very much a believer in bring your wacky self to work. And what that means is we appreciate you for you and the talents that you bring and the uniqueness that you'll bring to the environment and to our culture. We don't believe in having a lot of the same types of people, and we encourage differences.
So again, a set of people that can work with a healthy degree of conflict, that can move quickly, that can think disruptively, and have an appreciation for quality, and really making sure that everything that they do and everything they contribute is going to be at the highest possible bar of quality. And that's generally how we try and hire.
So the real reason why I've stayed is that I've just been able to have tremendous upside in terms of areas of growth and opportunity. Some of the best advice that I've ever received for why to stay at a company is if you can continue to have one foot firmly planted in something that you're really good at, and another foot kind of in an area that's uncertain and that's new and that forces you to learn and grow. So that's why I've stayed at Box.
You have to be passionate about the problem that you're trying to solve. A lot of people start either technology companies or other businesses because there might be a market opportunity. So on paper, it looks like there's this great opportunity where you can make money, and if you just strike right now, then you'll be able to take advantage of that opportunity. The challenge is that startups aren't these endeavors that you take on for a week or a month or a year or 2 years. In our case, we've been doing Box for 11 years. And the only way you're going to be able to get passionate about something for 11 years, and where you're going to feel like every day it's a new, fresh perspective on your idea and your strategy, is if you're fundamentally excited about what you're doing.
So the real reason I think people should come and work at Box now is that we are just at a really interesting point where we're going to be able to leverage the existing kind of boon that we've had through mobile and cloud, where now it's pretty widely adopted within companies. And now companies really want to do something that is absolutely going to change the way that they do business, help them to survive, but also help them to thrive and beat their competition.